you'll hear about the CBT triad a lot. Thoughts, emotions, behaviors forms this lovely triangle with thoughts typically sitting at the top of this triangle. The assumption and very research-backed truth is that what we think affects how we feel and act, right? So the goal of CBT is really to come at it, to go after that thought level of the CBT triangle. Because if we can change people's thoughts, then there will be resulting improvements in emotional and behavioral dysregulation. So you spend time on essentially figuring out what those, you hear about like cognitive distortions or automatic thoughts a lot in the CBT space. The idea being that a lot of us who have, whether it be anxiety or depression, this is also very evidence-based for depression, there are automatic thoughts that pop into mind that are counterproductive and fuel the anxiety and depression. So some of the kind of well-known ones are like all or none thinking, also known as black and white thinking. An example of that would be, if I don't get into UC Berkeley, I will never be an award-winning author, right? It's all or none. Like it's all of your eggs are in the Berkeley basket and nothing else is acceptable, right? Or catastrophizing. You've got, a lot of kids love their schedules and are perhaps too rigid with their schedules. And, maybe a kid's mom is like 20 minutes late because of awful traffic. In that anxious kid's head, he's thinking, oh my gosh, mom probably got into a really awful accident and maybe she's in the hospital or something, or something awful happened. That's a good example of just a completely catastrophic thought, right? There's no basis for it. Overgeneralization would be like because I failed, not even failed, because I got a B on a math test, I'll never be a successful engineer, right? That's the overgeneralization. Or personalization would be the teacher didn't call on me because she doesn't think I'm smart. So feeling like parents or teachers are kind of targeting them unfairly would be an example of personalization. So the goal of CBT is to basically tackle the cognitive distortions and replace them with healthier thoughts like, yes, I want to be a best-selling author. I don't have to go to Berkeley in order to get there. There are lots of different avenues to be a best-selling author, right? Or a successful author. Here are some of the other options that would work out quite well, right? So you make more adaptive thoughts, you insert more adaptive thoughts. Now, the challenge here, and I'm curious if others have tried this with their kids and their 2E profile. I've tried this a little bit within the context of evaluations that I do, particularly for like teenagers. And I'll try and, because their cognitive distortions are usually not hard to pick up during the evaluation process. And so I'll test them a little bit and try and get them to see things or think things a little bit differently. Sometimes your 2E profile is really fantastic at staying very, very intellectual. So you could talk about thoughts all day. And in fact, actually, some of that thought process sometimes can fuel like an existential depression sort of profile, right? Like, what's the point? We're all gonna, the earth is going to hell anyways, the climate change and the political. So why would I just change my thoughts because I'm just fooling myself? And so you can get stuck on that like intellectual reasoning, cognitive level. And I think with some 2E profiles, the challenge is actually getting at some of the emotional dysregulation and the emotional insight. And CBT doesn't always help in that regard. So just keep that in mind when you're thinking about treatment options for your particular child.